Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Joe.
Hey, good morning, Hamza.
How was your weekend?
I think it was great. Yeah, weather was great, and had a couple fun activities. So yeah, it was good. How about yourself?
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had good weather too. Now it's starting to rain though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it didn't last long.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Our forecast, even for the next 2 weeks, is sunshine and mid 20s.
Nice.
Phenomenal weather. Yeah. So we're gonna get our 3 months of beautiful weather here in Toronto area. So. Yeah,
Nice.
so yeah, let's look at what's going on over here. Economic calendar. Um, in 14 minutes, 9:45. Actually, let's reload this. I'm not sure these are accurate. Yes, they are. Okay, so manufacturing PMI, and that's about it at 9:45 or no, 10 a.m. So we've got S&P for the S&P Global Manufacturing PMI, but then we have another PMI number coming in at 10 a.m. And then the five things to know, nothing exciting. I mean, it's all the same stuff. Stocks at all-time highs. I missed the pullback on MES here. I was eyeballing it, and then I had to bring my daughter to the bus and missed the entry. So anyway, I'll explain it in a minute. And then NVIDIA stocks are rising after CEO gave a keynote, and then IBM and Intel are also moving up. Berkshire Hathaway acquire home builder. I'm not quite sure what this is. So nothing that really affects the way that I trade. And as far as earnings are concerned, I did not look at what we had this week. Dollar General, PNW, Palo Alto Networks could be an interesting mover on Tuesday after the close. Avgo and CrowdStrike are always interesting. Lulu, I've traded before. DocuSign can be interesting for those that trade earnings. And that's about it for the week. Yeah. So what are we looking at? Well, this is what I was looking at on MES. I was looking at the highs. I was looking at taking a possible short at the highs. For me to get an entry, and by the way, the market is open, so those of you who are trading the open, good luck. ARM is up 12.03%, so anybody trading that. I don't like trading the top here unless it gives me a kangaroo tail rejection with a decent stop loss. But what I will take is if I zoom into the 1 minute, we can tell that we went up and started selling. So I put in a fib, but just on a really tight time frame. And I did have a limit order on here for the reload. So we were selling. I had a limit order at the reload. Once it broke down below, I took the limit order off. And I walked away because like I said, I had stuff that I had to do. But look at what happened next. This became the new low. Move it sideways. There you go. That was the entry. And the 3R target would have been right here, but then it just kept on dumping. So we're selling on MES right now. Had a move happen pre-market, which is why I love futures. I wouldn't. This one I say I don't like taking and holding, but at 8 whatever this would have been in at 840, it's still far enough away from the open that it's possible to get to 3R before the open. So my stop would have been right there, and 3R would have been very close right there. If you are actively managing, there's absolutely nothing in here that stops you from getting the entire move here, because it made it to 3R, pulled back less than 50% from this move, and then dumped again. Right. So Missed that one. I'll get the next one. That's on MES. MNQ was not at, this was a little bit uncorrelated, that MES was at all-time highs here, while MNQ was not. Right? MNQ is lower and selling. So at this point right now, I'm going to wait for the half hour and see if there's a possibility to enter on whatever the latest impulse move is. So that's what I was looking at this morning. I can keep on looking over here. Please jump in if anybody has something that they're looking at. I was also looking at gold this morning. Did not give me an entry. But the impulse move right now is selling. So I would be, first of all, and get rid of some of these levels here. The upper ones are not necessary for now. Started selling at this point right here, probably right. Am I in the 5? Yeah, I am on the 5. There was room to the left from this level over here. Not a lot, but a bit, right? You can tell that this was resistance here, and then we tried to make it up a little bit higher and then could not. So we started selling. I would put my fib at the start of the candle that really started selling, and I would stop it where we start reversing, right? And I would see if there's a possible entry if it retraces into the 50 here. Oil, I was looking, this was last night. I did not take this. I should have taken it the same as, I'll give you my analysis on this. So, and because of the analysis and my theory on it or thesis on it worked out perfectly. So here's the way that I was looking at it last night. As the market opened at 6 p.m., we had a big move up. So an impulse move higher. There's room to the left. We took out liquidity above here. So at this point, I would draw a fib from there to the high. And the high was on the next candle. It came down right around here. So let's zoom in. Maybe let's replay. That way we don't see the other candles. There you go. So this is what I was looking at here. It pulled into here. That would have been a long entry with the stop at the 61.8, aiming for 3R. And there's the 3. And there's the 3 target. But what happened after was, right, this, I should have taken this. This is absolutely my setup. But I don't know for what reason I didn't take it. But what happened later was what I was really thinking about putting an order in overnight. It came back down, and this is absolutely a liquidity sweep. So I was thinking of putting an order to go long after we put in this sweep here. So this took out these stops, came down to the 61.8, just beyond, and then printed green. An entry right here with a stop below the wick and aiming for 3. And you leave it overnight, right? Especially on something you're not too worried about, like a prop firm. And then when I came to the computer in the morning, I had put this on here just as a setup, but I did not put the trade on. Actually, we'll just get out a replay. And this is what I saw this morning. Actually, my 3R was right over here. So whatever entry I'd planned out, but it never took out the stop, right? And now it's just going higher. So this would have been a good 3R trade. This one plus this one, that would have been 6R right there. Woulda, coulda. When you have a system that works, you should take the trade. M2K is selling right now. So the impulse move is lower. That's the start. There you go. Alert here. I'd be looking at the possibility of continuing the drop. The fact that there's no room to the left from the entry. I don't like that. But if you look back, if you go over here, then there is room to the left. That's where we really started selling. Look over here. This is where we started selling. We made a low. This one would not have worked. But then if you come back down, this one would have worked. Right? So this possibly would have been -1R. But then you move it sideways. I say it's -1R because this would be the low. Right? You possibly think about going slow. If it's a limit order, you'd go short here and you would have been stopped out. But then we're making a new low. This is the new low. So you drag it down. And this could possibly have been an entry. But what I like to do is the fact that we pulled into here, then I would draw a new fib. I would bring it down here. And with that being said, short right here would have worked. But this happened at, it was too early. Why didn't I look at this one? I don't know. I wasn't looking at M2K this morning, but this one would have worked as well. They work often. MYM is selling. Bitcoin is selling. Right. So is the sell-off gonna happen now, or are we gonna go get all-time highs during RTH before really pulling back? Right. That's what I'd like to see.
We started the selling overnight. We had a Chinese PMI, and that came in hotter than expected, and it was pretty much straight away. Oil started rising, equity started selling off, and copper started rising massively.
What is copper again? What is the
MHG?
Sorry again?
MHG.
MHG. Yeah, thank you. Let's do this. There you go. So is this a sell-off you're talking about?
No, that just happened now after the US session open. But the initial rise was around 9:45 Eastern. That was the Chinese PMI number.
At 9 what Eastern?
9:45, I think it is.
Last night.
Yeah.
Okay, PM. Okay. So right around here. Actually, let's put the sessions on. There you go. So there's the Asia session. And then once
we was all same time.
And then broke out of the Asia. Right now we're at Asia high, right? Which could be an area of support.
Yeah.
Right. This interesting level here, not necessarily an entry level. It's interesting. As far as I'm concerned, right now we're selling. So let's get rid of this.
And I'd be careful. I think the ISM manufacturing is in 15 minutes, so probably going to be quite volatile. Yeah.
And one of them, I believe, is in 3 minutes. Let's go back to where's my 85 that we still know before the open? Is that the right one? No, it's not. Many windows open. There it is. Okay, so it's not printing one at 9:45. I don't know what I was seeing earlier, but it is at 10 a.m. So 5. I'm just reloading right now.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would put the times beside, like instead of 12 minutes, just write down the time beside. There you go. It is in 1 minute. So there is something coming out at 9:45. But then there's another one at 10. So two different reporting agencies, possibly two different, yeah, the ISM and then the S&P global manufacturing. So anyway, anybody in a trade right now, careful, because there is news coming out in the next minute. Let's see what the delay is on financial juice.
Oh my God. I was in that oil trade, and when it spiked above the London high, I just sold it in a hurry. And yeah.
And then I just saw something here. What is this? Iran stops messages, and that's good for a long in oil, right? Any tension.
Yeah, I pretty much had my entry same as what you showed.
Yeah.
In the Asia session.
Yeah.
I took an entry then. My stop was a bit wider than yours. And initially I had my sell order at 92.50.
Yeah.
Which is a typical average sort of range. But yeah, I panic sold when it did that spike up.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Selling into strength is good. But there's that spiky candle there that I like to point out. Right? Spiky candle is not the technical term, obviously. It's this was a 50% retracement on this candle, and it was possible to get the 3R right around here. Right? When you have a tight stop, this is 3R, but this is what I would consider a liquidity sweep. If I put in an area here, right, at this level here, Alt H, look at that. It came right into it and then took off. Right, so this is where I was thinking about going long overnight on the prop firm account, and but I didn't. This was a little bit of a regret here, because when I see this at a level, it definitely looks like a high probability trade. So yeah.
It was nice. It gapped up as well from the Friday night session. So that was a little bit of an indicator as well.
Yeah.
Not much of a gap, but still a small gap between the close and the open. And then it just went straight up.
Yep. That's what I like to see as far as my impulse move. Right. As far as the impulse is concerned, I want to see a fair value gap, but I like seeing a gap at the open here from the Friday night to, especially in oil. You didn't see anything in MES, right? Didn't see anything in MNQ, right? We just chopped around here, right? But in oil, there is this gap, right? You can tell that it's strong. So if we're buying over here, even a good long would have been once we retested here, right? We're breaking out, retesting. Good long would be right here, stop below here, or if you want to be really conservative, put it below the gap, right? Because there's a possibility we come down and close this gap before moving up. But with there and where we are now, that's a 2R trade, right? But I mean, you can leave it on as well. Right? I don't like putting in these large stop losses personally, unless it's more of a swing trade. So MES, here's what I'd like to see on MES. I'd like for it to come back down and put in a double bottom at S3 for the possible continuation up. Because I do not feel that we are going to drop and, have, a few selling days without hitting the tops during RTH. It could just sell. I mean, if I were to put a FIP right here, I mean, this is very close to the 50 now. Right there you go. Right, it's just gapping into the zone. Right, could happen. I don't like that it's only 949 personally, but this could be an entry, especially if you zoom into the one. Right, wait for a bearish candle to print. And then on the break of that bearish candle, you can take a short and aim for the lows, or possibly aim for S3 again. So be curious to see what happens here. It's definitely at an interesting level, right? We started selling in the pre-market and started buying as soon as the market opened, but we're having trouble here. Anybody else in anything, or any questions or comments? Look at how we're taking out liquidity here. This is on a 1 minute. Let's put on the 5. Right, we are making higher highs, but they're all wicks. Right, there's sellers that are pushing price down here. $75, $92.50.
It's weird how you can take a good trade and still feel bad about it. Geez, oil is now at 93.50.
Yeah, and you took it off at 92.50?
91.50.
91.50. Oh, I thought you said your target was 92.50.
Yeah, and then when it spiked up, I moved it to the London high, and I took it off.
Yeah. Do you sometimes hang on a second? There's somebody at the door.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, it's just a package. Do you sometimes trail your stop instead and just wait for a confirmation that it has changed character?
I do normally trail stops, but I found that around the open, it's difficult to trail anything because it could just spike in either direction.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, no, good point. It is right the open, or right before the open here, we had a big spike. But if we're looking at, and not necessarily, this is just for anybody who wants to trail a stop or find out when they get out. There's no confirmation that we've reversed, right? Just then looking at the 5 minutes, where we pulled back, but even the sole red candle is an indecision candle. Now, if we were to break this low right here, right at 92, right, and then make a new low, then yeah, that's it. It feels like it could be reversing, but yeah, hindsight's 20/20, Hamza. Right, I feel it all the time. How do you use those CPP levels? I like putting them on. I used to trade the Camarilla pivots. I just got sick of, there's so many different complicated rules, and as far as teaching the system, it's a complicated system to teach. So I don't necessarily trade according to the rules, but I will pay attention to them. Right now, we're opening up above R4. When you're opening up above R4 in a lower range, meaning that over the last 2 days, we've been lower, right? The lower range over here just means that the comparison between Thursday and Friday was lower, right? But when you're opening up above R4, then you're assuming that we are probably going to be buying R4, right? So this, whoops. this right here, once we started messing around in this area over here, if we start making a new high, this would be a buy factor, a buy indicator, right around here, or possibly right around there. Right at this point, we're going down, right? But at this point, there's a change of character, right? We're no longer going down. We're making new highs. So that would be an entry. And the way that I trade, I aim for 3R. So there you go. A couple reasons why I don't like it is because it's right at the open. I don't like trading the first half hour. There will be enough setups later on in the day, or what I've been doing more often now is trading the pre-market. There's less volatility, and we follow I can't think of the word now. We follow not rules, but patterns more effectively during the pre-market. So that's why I have the CPP there. I like looking at it. If I'm thinking about selling here, it adds to my conviction that we're below R3. Because R3, if we are opening below, which we did, this could be resistance, and S3 can be support. Right? And it was. Right? So the system, the Camarilla system works well. And I like having the levels on my screen. I usually take them off, though. The only thing I like leaving up there are my key levels and the fair value gaps. Okay, so anyway, hopefully, Alexander, hopefully that answers. So I don't necessarily trade just that system, but if it fits into what it is I'm thinking of doing, it just adds to my confidence and conviction that, when I'm thinking about selling here, we're right below R3. Then, and I'd want to take it off before getting to this level. And this level is actually S3, which can be a support level. So there you go. Oil is just moving on, and I'm sure that this, not sure, but it could possibly have an impact. Right? Whatever is going on, there are no agreements signed yet, so we're hoping that everything will get resolved over there. But the longer we go without it being resolved, the higher oil can go.
I had a short position on the MTK. I just took that off as well. We're coming to PMI now, so I'd rather just book it.
Yeah. Look at how it came down, right? We were selling. Right.
There's a little bit of a gap below 28.90. But I'm guessing if we're going to fill it, it's going to be because of bad news. So we'll just have to wait and see how the PMI comes out.
Were you long or short?
No, I was short from the pre-market.
Short from the pre-market. Awesome. You know what? Maybe I'm going to have to start following you and Tarek's lead when it comes to, getting into positions before the open, because there are definitely some opportunities there. And look at this. I mean, that was a nice short. Even this trade right here that I'm describing, right, that we might be coming back into the 50. What you can do is zoom in, look for a bearish candle. There it is. I would say that this is the one truly bearish candle, and then enter short on the break of that candle. Aggressive stop. 3R is met before getting into the lows. Conservative stop above the wick. Ultra conservative stop, and that's more for a daily runner. And I would not necessarily take this because I'm under the impression that we could start buying to come and get the orders that are up here. Right? I don't like when all-time highs are printed in pre-market. Right? I have a strong feeling that we might go and grab these levels.
Gilles, this oil, it's blown well past its ATR range now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then you look
Yeah.
here. Right,
If
this
somebody wanted to,
be. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you saying, Hamza?
just that if there is some market moving news to the downside for oil, then you've got a lot, well, a fair bit of range to capture. From yesterday's close, I think we were like 1.5 times ATR.
Yeah.
From Friday's close, sorry.
So it's from here to here. Yeah, and this is an obvious level of possible resistance. Right? It was on Tuesday of last week. Right? We could not close this gap. Well, actually, we closed the gap perfectly of this low, right? And then we opened lower and then came back and closed the gap. It was resistance. Will it be resistance again? At this point, especially the fact that it's 1.5 ATR, it could be a place to possibly short.
Sorry to interrupt. So the ISM PMI did come in hotter than expected, same as China's. What effect that has, no idea. Just letting you know.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing. I appreciate that. And you're never interrupting. That goes for everyone. If I'm not interrupted, there's a possibility of me talking straight for 60 minutes. So this is a very bearish candle here. That's not printed yet. Well, we got 5 seconds. It's a trendy kangaroo, right? The trend, just the most recent trend is lower. We're spiking up right into that 50, right? And making new lows, but it didn't close at the bottom. So for it to be a really good trendy kangaroo tail, it needs to close at the bottom, and we need to break that new low quickly afterwards. So interesting to see what's going to happen now. When there's news like this that can possibly move the market, I consider 10 a.m. exactly the same as the open. So I would wait at least the 5 minutes to see how is the market digesting the news that we just got.
Yeah, plus if you try and trade straight away, they'll just kill you with the spreads.
Yeah.
I think the M2K goes from 0.1 to like 0.5, 0.6.
This was a higher level of possible support here on M2K. Right, so I'd be interested to see what happens here. The fact that we came down and gave a pullback into the 50, my fib would now start at this level and come down to this level. And if we stair step into this level here, it might be a place to reload on the shorts. But this right now could be a strong level of support. So do I want to short here right into support? Not necessarily. So we shall see what happens. I mean, if I put a limit order here, right, if I were to short right here, can I get to 3R before getting down to the low? Before getting down to that support? Yeah, I can. So limit, sell. The stop would be there. The entry would be right there. And take profit would be there. Paper trade. Let's see the number, the dollar amount here doesn't matter, right? So let's just see what would happen here. That is on paper trading. When it comes to the overall macro picture, I am absolutely bearish if we can get back into these areas. We are not trading or financial advice. It's just my opinion. We are overbought with interest rates possibly going up because inflation is going up. So hopefully there's, especially for my long-term investments, this has been phenomenal. AI, everything's just screaming up. However, if inflation continues to be persistent, the Fed is going to have to either bump up interest rates or print money. And if that's the case, then we could be very bearish on a macro level. So, but again, I'd like to see eventually, maybe not even today, eventually get back to the highs, especially during RTH, regular trading hours. And we might have trouble finding buyers up here. And if that's the case, then we could absolutely pull back. So 1005 is printed. Right? You would assume that PMI coming in hotter would be bearish, but it's not right now. Right? We're still hanging out in this area. Now it printed a point above forecast, so it's not, you know, where is it? This is, yeah, this is saying the 45, the 945 one was a tiny bit lower, right? Yeah, not quite sure what the difference is between these two right here. There you go. Oil still going up. Oil, I'm going to set an alert just here. I'd like to see if I have two possibilities for short here. Either we get a liquidity sweep above here. Let me take this one off. This is an old one. There you go. So either we get a liquidity sweep above and a rejection. That would be a Kangaroo Tail. And I do have a trade book for Kangaroo Tail short. CRWV Core Weave up 12%. They're the ones that I said they're having earnings this week. So anyway, the two setups would be a Kangaroo Tail short. If I get the setup over here, I would possibly take it. It's far enough from R6. It's definitely strong, but it's extended and it's beyond ATR right now. So we could be pulling back in. And the other possibility is a double top, right? So if we pull back and it would have to take a couple or 5 or 6 5-minute candles and then come and make another top, possibly take out liquidity right above and then sell off. Those are the two possibilities for a reversal here.
The bonds don't look too pretty.
The bonds are
5-year, 10-year, they've all blown past ATR lows.
Yeah. What are you looking at? I need to add these to my checklist. What symbol are you looking at?
So the 2-year is ZT. The 5-year is ZF, and the 10-year is ZN. N for November.
ZT. Oh, did I have? Yeah, I did have an order, right? I don't even remember what it was. M2K? M2K. There you go. So I had that paper trading order in here. Limit order, right? So let's see what happens there. ZT and Indicate Z. Which one was it? ZT, Z.
ZF, ZT, and ZN.
Okay, S. Z, S as in Sierra?
No, F for Foxtrot.
F as in Foxtrot. Okay, the 5-year. There you go. Stop loss on M2K. I should have taken this off with the news being and it's a paper trade, right? So but I am presenting right now, so this is something that I possibly would have entered. Look at how it's going to reverse now, right after taking out the stop. The stop maybe should have been a tiny bit over. TF. And I think you said N as in November.
Mm-hmm.
Z, N as in November. I will go add these to, yeah, look at these wicks here. Over, there you go. So that's the 10-year. Okay, something we can look at a little bit later. M2K, is it giving a bearish entry? All right. Let's see how this candle prints here. And the thing is, can you get to 3R with an entry below here? Well, now you're getting a little bit wider as far as the stop is concerned. Right? This is not considered a bearish candle yet. It is bearish, but it's got a wick at the bottom. Right? But we are making new lows. Actually, let's leave that there and just show that the stop of this stop level was 98.20, and the candle was a high 98.10. So why was it stopped at? Oh, I moved it. I moved it a tick. Right? Let's me control Z again. There you go. That's where it was. 80. Stop 97.90. One tick above 61.8 is a bit high, or a bit close. But it was at 97.9, and the high was 98.1. So a couple ticks above. So let's just leave it there, though, to see if, I had been a little bit more conservative on the stop. Would it have gotten to 3R? I'm thinking yes, because this looks like it is bearish. It looks like it came into the 50 and seems to be rejecting. Excuse me again. Anybody here from Florida, St. Petersburg, Clearwater area? Out of curiosity, I'm booking a trip there later on today. Never been to that area on the Gulf side. So in the next 15 minutes, I want to see what happens here. This is a lot of chop on MNQ, a lot of indecision here. We are buying S3. Some might call this the double bottom, right? We did come from a higher area. We are hitting S3, which is a buy area, especially in a higher range, and then bought it again, or sorry, touched it again. stop possibly below yesterday low, because there's the and possibly if you find an entry here to go long. But we've been here, we've been rejecting this area all morning. So I wouldn't necessarily take it as a double bottom, but I do want to see it possibly come up here. Maybe not today, but I'd like to see it get back to all-time highs. Same thing with MES. Oil is reversing before getting to that higher level of resistance. So I personally, if this had given me an entry right here, I don't trust it short yet. Right? I want it to come out and take this liquidity. So we were buying there to there. If you were short, I'd be looking at probably trying to get profit before it gets to 92. Because on the long side, this is a possible reload area for the bulls that are trying to go long.
Yeah, it's a big impulse. Might just spend the rest of the day digesting the move going sideways.
It absolutely can go sideways all day, especially with no news coming out of Washington. And but if there is news,
yeah,
you know, that's the thing with this, with MCL. It's so news dependent.
Yeah, it's very violent. It doesn't move and then it just explodes.
Yeah, and that's, you have to have a good stop. I'd be afraid not to get filled on a stop. What's going on with copper?
I had a situation like that the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it was a positive because on the chart it looked like the candle had just spiked straight through my stop, many points. But when I checked the fill price from Ninja, the price was only like maybe like 25 or 50 cents away, so no more than like a few ticks. So I think sometimes the charts are like slow to update, even though your order might have gone through on TradingView anyway.
Yep. Or sometimes you'll get these ghost candles that, you know, will print maybe one order filled over here, one contract for some reason filled at 76.21. Well, it will give you a ridiculous candle all the way up there, but price never really made it up there. Right? So those can be pretty scary as well. And then if you had a stop in the middle of the range, you won't get filled because there is only one order. It doesn't happen often, but I've seen it happen where, you know, you'll get this crazy wick and it's, you know, you can go look at it and you find out that there was only one contract filled at that level. How that happens, I'm not quite sure.
It's normally data error, I think.
It's normally what?
Data error.
Yeah. What's going on in the equities world? AMD gap down. That was at 4 a.m. Right at 4 a.m. Started selling, started buying right here. Did not give an entry. Where's the 50 right there? Too many levels here. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. There you go. But there we go. From the open, This would be, these are two very difficult candles to trade, right? Very bullish candle and then a very bearish, almost engulfing candle. Then making new lows, and then are we pulling back into the 50 for the continuation lower? Who knows? NVIDIA, they're saying that it was strong. Pre-market. NVIDIA, are we at all-time highs? I don't think so. No. Got a couple candles over here, much higher. But it's strong. Tesla selling, right? Tesla opened right above S4, but broke down below S4, then came and retested S4. That's a short area. And if you can find an entry for this, let's go to the 1. Right, so we blew past or underneath S4, came back. You think other people are looking at these levels? Look at how it just was touching S4 here. And then if you find an entry, right, even though this printed green, that's a pretty bearish candle on the break or a new low here. That would be a possible entry. Short. Stop right above the wick. Aim for 3. And there's 3 right there. And honestly, with weekly low being right there, if I were in this, I would have taken it off right here. Might not have been 3, 2.88. Right? But the weekly low here can absolutely be a strong level of support. If not, close to S6 possible. And then you look left, a higher time frame. It's easier for me to do it like this. There we go. So looking left, right, this could be an interesting level. Right around there, right? This was support. Then it was resistance. Then we blew past it. Will it be support again? Possibly. So that's how I zoom in and out. So just a few more minutes left before 10:30 before I walk away. I don't know if anybody has any questions or anything you're looking at. MNQ. We're starting to buy. Be interesting to see what happens at R3 here again. MES. Be interesting if we can break this area here. If so, if we break above TDH, today's high, it could be a break and a retest to go test the highs again. Personally, I would not take this break and retest because there's no room to the left. Right? We're just there in pre-market. And as far as the 50% is concerned, we are still right into the golden zone. I don't like the fact that it's gone through and then is bouncing and wicking into here. Right? So it loses its resistance area the longer that it chops around in here. But if you can find an entry here, right, the first time that it came and tested it, right, with the stop here, would you have gotten to 3? Not yet. NCL. I thought maybe this was going to pull back into the 50, did not yet. So I do have an alert here. That's the only thing I'm really looking at once I log off. This is just choppy in a zone. MES, same thing, right? I want to know if it makes it higher over here. I cannot imagine it happening today, but over the next few days, we might come back into all-time highs. Gold. There, let me get rid of this. I don't know why I didn't. I put that in before. Oh, there's a nice setup in gold that I missed. All right, I've explained this many times, but I'll do it again. At the open, we were selling, right? We started selling right around here, right before the open. And this was the low here. Did not, oh, that's why I had the alert. Right, my alert, I had set it up to see if it comes back into the 50. It did not, but it came very close. So that is my new impulse sell right there. That's the low. Look left. Is there major areas of support here? Maybe over here. Right. So is it possible to make 3R before getting there? Short, once it comes into the 50 and rejects, find an entry. Stop above the 61.8. Aim for 3. Almost there. If any of you are watching these, please don't hesitate to share, and either in the chat or get on the mic, right? Because that would have been a nice entry short here. Because we're selling, right? We can tell that the sellers are in charge. You can tell with these fair value gaps. I don't like, but it wouldn't have stopped me because it's very small, but I don't like that there is a tiny little fair value gap, that printed green here, right there. Right? And it's been filled in already. But I don't like going short, especially if big fair value gaps, because it shows you that the buyers are regaining control. But this was so small, this tiny little area here, that it wouldn't have stopped me from going short over here. And there you go. The 3R would have been met right there. So at this point, if we make new lows, I will take my fib and I will bring it down to where we rejected. But now that we've done it twice, maybe 3 times, I start trusting it less. And if anybody has any other strategy that they're using, please don't hesitate to share on here. So MCL, what's it going to do here? It's probably going to do something right after 1030. And if I do something with it, I will share it in the Discord. Just because we've talked about it. Okay, I've got to answer that text. So it is 10:30. I'm going to walk away. Hopefully you guys are keeping it green, and I will be back tomorrow. The room remains open, so please don't hesitate to keep sharing, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Cheers. Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks, Jill.
Thank you, Hamza.